George W. Bush, we project, will carry Arkansas, giving him an additional 6 electoral votes. So at this moment, we now have this tally: 182 electoral votes for the president, 112 for John Kerry, 270 needed to win. The blue states for Kerry, the red states for Bush. Those white states that you see are states that have closed, but we don't have enough information yet to project who will win those states. Jeff Greenfield, Arkansas, I guess we shouldn't really be surprised by this at all.
No, I think the notion that a former president of the United States, who after all has moved to New York, and whose wife now represents New York in the Senate, is going to hold the emotions of Arkansans in his hand may have been a little overstated. I think it was one of those long shots, one of those very long shots, and it didn't pay off like most long shots.
Still, Wolf, not one state has shifted.
That's correct, Larry. All the states that Gore carried 4 years ago, we're projecting, among the states we've projected, will remain in the Democratic column. The states that Bush carried 4 years ago at this point, among the states we've projected, will remain in the Bush column. Bill Schneider, you're looking at the exit polls, and you got some new numbers for us.
Yes, I do. This election is close nationally. It's close in a lot of the big states. Why? The election is a referendum on George Bush, and voters are of two minds about George Bush. Let's take a look at voters in Michigan and what they told us about President Bush today. We asked them, do you trust President Bush to handle the economy? And the answer is a majority said no, 56 to 44. Negative ratings on the economy. Then we asked them, do you trust President Bush to handle terrorism? And the answer was yes, 52 to 43. Terrorism, Bush looks good. The economy, not so good. It is a referendum on Bush much more than on Kerry, because, you know, Wolf, when we asked voters in Michigan, do you trust Kerry to handle the economy? They were split. Do you trust Kerry to handle terrorism? They were split. They're not so sure about Kerry, but on Bush, they are of two very different minds.
All right, Bill Schneider, thanks very much. We're ready to make another projection right now. CNN can project at 10:14 p.m. on the East Coast, Missouri and its 11 electoral votes will be won by the President of the United States, George W. Bush. Missouri had been in place. Supposedly, the Democrats sort of gave up on Missouri a few weeks ago. They came back and thought that maybe they had a shot, but right now, Missouri and its 11 electoral votes will go for the President. Here's the new tally that we have in the race for the White House. Right now, the President has, according to our projections, 193 electoral votes. John Kerry with 112. But remember, this is the number, 270, not 269, but 270, that you need to be elected President of the United States. Missouri, not a great surprise. It's a state that went to the Republicans 4 years ago as well, Jeff.
It is. It went narrowly. I still want to see when all the numbers are in, thanks to our wall of numbers, how close did the Democrats come? Is this going to wind up a substantial lead, or is it going to wind up where Democrats are going to look at those 11 electoral votes as a missed opportunity? Yes, we've called it for Missouri. That's done, but let's just see whether that turns out to be one of those storylines that we'll be looking at a few days from now.
Carlos?
Well, two interesting things to think about in Missouri. Missouri has chosen the winner in presidential elections 24 of the last 25 times. So if you're President Bush sitting in Washington, this sounds like good news, and you hope that they're as right as they've been, with the exception of 1956. The second thing that's interesting in Missouri is it's one of the few places in the country that has a really interesting gubernatorial race. We've talked about the presidential race, we've talked about Senate races, but they actually have a really interesting gubernatorial fight there.
And we'll be covering that as well. Larry?
And while we're waiting for the apparent senator-elect to speak in Illinois, this could be the longest wife introduction in the history of elections.
She's a lawyer, too.
Oh,
maybe that explains it. She's
still at it.
We'll dip in and listen to Barack Obama once he eventually gets to that stage. Barack Obama. A lot of Democrats have a lot of hope in this young man.
Well, I must say that, you know, in an era when conventions are scripted to the nines and you go to conventions because you sort of have to go, every once in a while somebody gets up and does something that absolutely blows the place apart. And I think when Obama began to speak, the sign for me of a really great speaker as a retired speechwriter is not when people jump up and yell. They always do that. They'll jump up and yell for the phone book. When he quieted the crowd down as he told his story and the story of America. This guy is a compelling figure.
Was he the first president of the Harvard Law Review?
First African-American president of Harvard Law Review.
African-American, that's what I meant, yeah.
He's made it. I think he's coming.
He's coming up.
Let me take a look. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but she looks like she's about to introduce her. Let's listen in.
My baby's daddy, Barack Obama.
You know,
Yeah! Come here, little.
Thank you, Illinois. Thank you. Thank you, Illinois. I don't know about you, but I'm still fired up. I am fired up. Look at this crowd. Thank you, Illinois. Let me begin by thanking all the people who have been involved in this effort, from downstate to upstate, city, suburb, from every community throughout the state. Let me say how grateful I am to all of you for the extraordinary privilege of standing here this evening. Let me thank, because I will forget later on, it's a thankless task. Let me thank right now the best political staff that there has been put together in this state. They are wonderful. You know who you are. You guys have been outstanding. I appreciate all of you. Let me thank my pastor, Jeremiah A. Wright, Jr., of Trinity United Church of Christ, fellow Trinitarians out there. Let me thank all the elected officials who've stood by me through thick and through thin. But most of all, let me thank my family. I am so grateful to my nephew Avery, my niece Leslie, my mother-in-law Marion, my brother-in-law Craig Robinson, his wonderful girlfriend Kelly, my sister Maya, my new niece Suhaila right there, my brother-in-law Conrad, and most of all, my two precious daughters, Malia Obama and Sasha Obama. And the biggest star in the Obama family until the two girls grow up, the love of my life, Michelle Obama. Give it up for Michelle. Give it up.
Barack Obama, a very happy man. He's going to be the next United States Senator from Illinois, the first African-American Democrat to be elected to the United States Senate, the second African-American to be elected from the state of Illinois. Anderson Cooper, you've got some other Senate races you're looking at.
That's right, Wolf. We have two projections we can make in the state of Nevada and also in South Carolina. Let's take a look at what's going on the board. In Nevada, South Carolina first, Jim DeMint. We can now project as the winner. Inez Tenenbaum, the state superintendent of education, had run a tough race against Jim DeMint. Democrats had poured in millions of dollars hoping Inez Tenenbaum might be able to make a move on Jim DeMint. This, of course, for the seat held for 38 years now by Fritz Hollings, a Democrat. So this is a pickup by the Republicans in the Senate. It's not a complete surprise, however. This is a very conservative area. Fritz Hollings holding on to the seat for 38 years as a Democrat, but it was very much expected that this seat would go to the Republicans. Jim DeMint, proponent of a national sales tax. Inez Tenenbaum had tried to use that against them. Some voters had a hard time understanding what Jim DeMint was talking about, national sales tax to replace a federal income tax. But in the end, his conservative values won him this election in South Carolina. Also in Nevada, we can call the race for Harry Reid, the Senate Minority Whip, already a Democrat, so he holds on to his seat. That not really a big surprise. It wasn't a close race at all. And we are closely following the race in Kentucky between Senator Jim Bunning and Senator Dan Monjardo, State Senator Dan Monjardo. A very close race there. We're watching closely. We hope to have some results on that one soon. Will?
All right, Anderson, thank you very much. Let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the United States Senate. So far, I don't think we've seen any major surprises, except that Kentucky race is surprisingly close.
The Kentucky race is close. The Democratic problem is 5 southern states, 4 of whom are red states, with Democratic incumbents who chose not to run again. I mean, Zell Miller is barely a Democrat, but at least he voted to organize with them. And what we're seeing is a couple of pickups there that make the Democratic effort to retake the Senate, particularly with Oklahoma remaining Republican, just very tough. I mean, this is the pattern that we've seen throughout the South. It began a defect from Democrats at the presidential level, and over the last 10 years, more and more in the House, in the Senate, in the governorships, people who used to call themselves Reagan Democrats now have a different name for themselves. They call themselves Republicans.
And also, with 35% in, the national election's getting closer to total votes. It's 52 to 48, and it was 54 to 46.
California hasn't closed. We just don't know. I think Mr. Nader is.
Let's listen in to Ralph Nader. He's speaking to his supporters. Let's see what he has to say. He's got 150,000 votes so far. Nationally, 151,000, with 36% of the precincts reporting. All right, we'll get some sound from Ralph Nader once we fix that. Maybe we'll listen to hear what he has to say at this moment, almost 10:30 on the East Coast. Ralph Nader doesn't seem to be doing as well this time as he did 4 years ago.
There were a number of people who backed Ralph Nader 4 years ago in 2000 who have kind of formed committees to persuade other one-time Nader voters not to do this. Michael Moore, the controversial filmmaker who backed Nader in 2000, has done everything but, send him a one-way ticket to the Azores to get him to stop running. He literally got on his hands and knees on a television show because a lot of people on the left feel Nader cost Al Gore the White House, and they really don't like the president's policies, and they don't want to see Nader do it again.
You know, you got to watch, though, Nader in a couple of Midwestern states. Remember, in Wisconsin, just short of 4% last time, and that's one of the places the president is targeted. And then Minnesota, 5.2% in 2000, Ralph Nader did. So you got to watch his potential impact. They sent out an email today saying of the 3 states they thought they would do best in, Alaska was one, but Minnesota was another.
But he is down everywhere. He's down in New Hampshire. So it appears that might hold true. Yeah, he's
down from where he was 4 years ago.
Disappointed, very disappointing.
Read his. You interviewed him several times, Larry. You've known him for many, many years, going back to the '60s and seatbelts and all that stuff. What makes him tick?
I don't know. I know he had a stroke. He had a mild stroke some years back, and that might have affected him. Because he never wanted to run for office. The Ralph Nader I knew in the '60s. Take a quick Ralph Nader story. We're driving over. I just interviewed him in Miami, Channel 4. We're driving over a causeway, and I stop and it was a dime for the car to go through. I hit the window, window goes down, drop the dime in. We pull out. He says, pull over. I pull over. He says, why did that window go down so fast? I said, I don't know. He says, don't you think going up and down that fast could hurt somebody? Kid put his arm out. I said, I guess. He sends me reams of material, letters to car companies, medical examiners, how many kids' arms were hurt, deaths that might have been caused by a little kid sticking his head out the window, and all windows now go up slowly. Another Nader measure. He's great. He was
clean water, right? Been involved in
Ralph Nader did a lot of things. Yeah. Democrats are still very angry at him, no matter how many good things he did. All right, stand by. I want to show our viewers. People are still voting all over the country. The polls are still open in California. This man is voting. Doesn't look like he's got a lot of colleagues voting over there. In Washington State, they're voting. Looks like there's some empty polling booths over there. Some machines are still waiting. And in Alaska, 1 a.m. on the East Coast, that's when they'll close. In Alaska, we'll continue to watch. To our viewers, here's a recommendation. If the polls are still open where you are, this would be a good time to still go out and vote. It's important. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.